Good evening, cult members, and welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And I do this with my hands every time we start. This is going to be our spoiler review. I'll say it, the spoiler review of Rocketman. Spoilers, Elton John is gay.
Yes, and you know that by the end of the movie.
And he writes some really good songs, and he took some drugs and drank a lot of booze, and I mean that's not a spoiler. That's what the
married a woman at one point. I didn't know that one.
I knew that one,
Yeah?
because I've seen pictures of it and stuff. I'm not a gigantic Elton John fan, but I knew 75% of the songs.
Yeah.
And if there's not a big gay sing along of this at some point in time, I have to go just to go watch. This is a very different movie than I think everybody was expecting, at least from us.
Yeah.
Expecting.
Yes.
Because when they started showing the trailers right around Bohemian Rhapsody, you were like, what is going on?
Yeah, it was very different than Bohemian Rhapsody and seemed more fantastical, which it was. There were some scenes, but they made sense. You weren't like, I need to take drugs in order to watch this movie.
Right.
They actually made sense.
It makes sense, especially when you look at the way they did the storytelling process. And the storytelling process was out of order. They actually start the movie at the beginning of the climax of the movie.
Right.
And then they work their way to that point through the rest of the movie. And I liked, too, how they kind of... It's a musical. It's like a straight out musical. Like Bohemian Rhapsody was a biopic that had music in it.
Right.
I still think it's a musical, but this is a straight out, like, it's a song and then a transition scene to get to another song and then a transition scene to get to another song.
Singing and dancing breaks out everywhere.
Randomly and like, yeah.
Like in an orgy.
It was very Sense 8 in there for a minute. And then there was the Saturday Night's All Right to Fight.
Yeah, that was actually good. That was a transition from him being, what was he, probably 12?
12, yeah.
And playing in pubs to being, I would assume, in his late teens.
Late teens, early 20s, something like that.
Yeah, well, he was 23 when he hit big. So probably, late teens. Yeah. Again, playing in a pub, and there was this whole dance and song scene.
And, like, the fight scene goes on through the whole, like, and they go to a carnival, and then there's a fight scene, but they're dance fighting, and they're break-dance fighting. But it was just cool, like, the way they, I'm not a big go see musicals. Like, I had no desire to see La La Land. I just don't care. But I liked Chicago, and I liked this a lot.
Yeah.
And I liked, I think for me, for this particular version of a musical, it's because it's Elton John, and I really love Elton John, and I know a lot of his music, and I just have a great appreciation for him as an entertainer.
Right.
But after this movie, like his musical genius and his struggle as not really having great parents and kind of misleading loved ones who didn't really love him, just used him for his fame and his talents.
Right, which is, a pitfall of being famous, regardless of whether you're gay or straight. But then being gay didn't help. Didn't
help at all, especially in that time period in the 70s and early 80s, where it was still very taboo. And that's something that they dealt with too in Bohemian Rhapsody with what happened with Freddie Mercury and stuff. So it sounds like I'm trying to correlate between the two movies, and you're going to a little bit, because both Freddie's journey and Elton's journey are very similar to each other.
Right. They're both British. They're both gay. They both were popular at the same time, but very different music. And
very much showmen in different ways.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
We have to talk about the epic epic.
I was going to go there next.
I don't know what you call that.
It was a rooster outfit.
Rooster.
It was the full-on rooster mane. It was
like 3 feet tall.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. They did they did a really good job in this movie and they actually showed it in the credits where they took the scene from the movie where they had the fantastical costume or the crazy glasses or something, whatever, and they showed the actual historical photos of
that same scene,
or that concert or something like that.
Yeah. And so I remember the LA it's the Dodgers, right?
Stadium, yeah.
They change names all the time.
That's not the Anaheim Angels of Disney sometimes and Los Angeles of Orange County. The Dodgers,
when he was in the bedazzled, rhinestoned Dodgers uniform. I remember that one. I remember the white one with the feathers all here and the white glasses and the white. It was more of a tamed rooster thing going on. I remember that costume. There were definitely different ones where they were iconic. And I remember them.
The costume that starts off the whole movie is Elton busting through a door in this essentially devil, angel, demon angel outfit. Big red and yellow feathers and horns, and
he's got
bedazzled
wings.
Things on. It's pretty epic, and the movie is actually him talking about his life through rehab. And as each time they go back to him in the rehab, he's lost a piece of that clothing. To finally, he gets to a point where he's just in an open robe.
Right.
So he's stripped, and it's a really cool visual way of saying that he stripped all these layers back to make himself naked, to be vulnerable enough to say, "I need help," and and I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. We've talked about the costumes and the whatever, and the cinematography, and the music is amazing. Taron Egerton is a front runner for Best Actor at this point in time.
Yeah, yes, as far as me personally am concerned, absolutely. I don't know if the Academy will give him love.
I don't know. I don't know if they will either. With the new version of the Academy, I think there's more likelihood that he'll get a better push when it comes down to it. But it's the first week in June. June 1st is tomorrow, and so
I mean, if I would put his performance up against Rami's, and Rami did win. Yeah.
It's pretty damn close.
I would say it's more because Taron actually sings these songs.
And that was one thing I was going to say is. I read an article or saw an interview, I don't remember which one it was, but they were talking about how Elton sat down with Taron and said, "I want you to do your version of these songs."
Yeah.
And Taron sounds a lot like Elton. He looks a lot like Elton, but he was doing a version of Elton, not actually trying to be Elton.
Right.
And I thought that was a great choice by everybody, but it helps that Taron can freaking sing.
Yeah.
And there's some spots in the songs where it's really hard. Like Elton's got a pretty decent range.
Yeah.
And Taron actually
hit those
got
high notes and and there was a couple of times where instead of going up in the song in the range, he went down, but it actually worked because I'm thinking of when he was in the recording studio when he met the woman that he married.
Yes.
And he's just kind of putzing around on the piano. So he's not actually belting out this song. He's just kind of putzing around and singing. So his choice to go down in range instead of up was fine. It made sense.
And a lot of the songs that they did too were variations of the original songs.
Right. So they didn't sing the entire version from beginning to end. Sometimes they pick up in the middle or
there was
chorus.
A lot more acting emotion than it was maybe like singing emotion. There's a difference in there and that kind of thing. But Taron is he handles all of it so well. And there's Elton's gay with spoilers. But there's a makeout scene.
There's a couple.
There's a couple of makeout scenes, and it just you see Taron Egerton from Kingsman, but you also see Elton John. Now that a lot of that's the costume too.
Yeah.
But you get his mannerisms and his walking and all that. I mean,
there was a couple of times when I was like, "Whoa!"
Well, yeah, especially when he starts losing his hair.
Yeah.
Especially when he starts losing his hair, it was like, oh yeah. Bryce Dallas Howard is his mom. She's pretty despicable. Great performance. Despicable person.
Yes. Yes.
Bernie is played by. Do you remember what Bernie's played by? I cannot remember the name off the top of my head.
And we looked up what he like Snowpiercer and
Jumper
and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
He's kind of had some bad movies, but
he was really good as Bernie.
And he sang.
And Richard Madden, who bodyguard and Robb Stark from Game of Thrones. Yep. There was a scene. They start breaking out into song because that's what you do in a musical. And about the second chorus goes in, and Richard Madden starts singing, and I'm just like, God damn it, he's gorgeous, and he can sing.
I hate you.
Yeah. So overall, really, really awesome.
Yep.
Really happy with this movie.
Yeah.
I want to go see it in the big gay sing-along version. We
have several gay friends. We could maybe get them to go with us.
Yes, maybe we'll have to like Flicks or something like that.
Yeah,
let us be a little more vocal. So overall score,
I'm gonna give it a 4.25.
Okay. I'm at a 4 right now, but I think I want to see it again.
Okay.
That score will probably go up. Like when on the way home, I was like, it's a 4. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Stick with your.
That is our thoughts on Rocketman. What did you guys think? Let us know. Leave us a comment. Tell us what your favorite Elton John song is. And good luck with that. And there's an awesome music video at the end. Oh, it's so cool. So let us know. Help us out by subscribing to the channel and helping us out on Patreon. Also follow us on all of our social media stuff. It's all in the description below. Till next time, Godzilla. Good night now.